After a comparatively brief training period in the Rothschilds' London Bank, Jacob left for America with instructions to buy into a banking house which was to be the springboard to acquire control of the money system of the United States. Actually, Jacob came here to carry out four specific assignments. 1, and most important, was to acquire control of America's money system. 2, find desirable men, who for a price, would be willing to serve, as stooges for the great conspiracy and promote them into high places in our federal government, our Congress, and the U.S. Supreme Court, and all federal agencies. 3, create minority group strife throughout the nations, particularly between the whites and blacks. 4, create a movement to destroy religion in the United States, but Christianity to be the chief target. Earlier I stated that Jacob Schiff came to America with orders by Rothschild to carry out four specific directives. The first and most important one was to get control of the United States money system. Let's trace Schiff's step to accomplish that directive. As a first step he had to buy into a banking house, but it had to be the kind of a house that he could absolutely control and mold for that primary objective of entrapping our U.S. money system. After carefully scouting around, Jacob bought a partnership in a firm that called itself Kuhn and Leib. Like Schiff, Kuhn and Leib were immigrants from German Jewish ghettos. They came to the U.S. in the mid-1840s and both of them started their business careers as itinerant pack peddlers. In the early 1850s, they pooled their interests and set up a merchandise store in Lafayette, Indiana under the firm name of Kuhn and Leib, servicing the covered wagon settlers on their way west. In the years that followed, they set up similar stores in Cincinnati and St. Louis. Then they added pawnbrokering to their merchandising pursuits. From that to money lending was a short and quick step. By the time Schiff arrived on the scene, Kuhn and Leib was a well-known private banking firm, and this is the firm Jacob bought into. Shortly after he became a partner in Kuhn and Leib, Schiff married Leib's daughter, Teresa. Then he bought out Kuhn's interests and moved the firm to New York, and Kuhn and Leib became Kuhn, Leib and Company, international bankers, with Jacob Schiff, agent of the Rothschilds, ostensibly the sole owner. And throughout his career, this blend of Judas and Machiavelli, the first hierarch of the Illuminati's great conspiracy in America, posed as a generous philanthropist and a man of great holiness, the cover-up policy set forth by the Illuminati. As I have stated, the first great step of the conspiracy was to be the entrapment of our money system. To achieve that objective, Schiff had to get full cooperation of the then big banker elements in America, and that was easier said than done. Even in those years, Wall Street was the heart of the American money mart and J.P. Morgan was its dictator. Next in line were the Drexels and the Biddles of Philadelphia. All the other financiers, big and little, danced to the music of those three houses, but particularly to that of Morgan. All of those three were proud, haughty, arrogant potentates. For the first few years, they viewed the little bewhiskered man from the German ghettos with utter contempt, but Jacob knew how to overcome that. He threw a few Rothschild bones to them. The said bones being distribution in America of desirable European stock and bond issues. Then he discovered that he had a still more potent weapon in his hands in the following. It was in the decades following our Civil War that our industries began to burgeon. We had great railroads to build. The oil, mining, steel, textile industries were bursting out of their swaddling clothes. All of that called for vast financing. Much of that financing had to come from abroad. That meant the House of Rothschild, and that was when Schiff came into his own. He played a very crafty game. He became the patron saint of John D. Rockefeller, Edward R. Harriman, and Andrew Carnegie. He financed the Standard Oil Company for Rocky, the railroad empire for Harriman, and the steel empire for Carnegie. But instead of hogging all the other industries for Kuhn, Leib, and Company, he opened the doors of the House of Rothschild to Morgan, Biddle, and Drexel,